supporting neurodiversity in the therapy room. So today I'm going to run through a quick introduction. I'm going to talk about what is neurodiversity. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, what we can do as therapists to support neurodiversity, how can we put this into practice. I'm going to tell you a little bit about gentle release therapy, and I'm going to talk about further learning. Introduction, a bit about me. So my name is Helen Robinson. I'm the founder of Gentle Release Therapy and Energy Facial Rejuvenation. I have an 8-year-old daughter, a border collie called Lily, and I have a husband who enjoys running a roller disco every Friday night, which I have to help with. So if you're wondering where I am on a Friday night, I'll be looking after people on 8 wheels. I started swimming in a fantastic lake that I live nearby last summer, and I've managed to swim all winter. And there's a picture of me there with the icy lake behind me, and I have to say, absolutely fantastic. And for my mental well-being, I've really enjoyed it, and learning all about the vagus nerve and how cold water can help with that has been really interesting, and I've loved going every week. So if you fancy doing it, don't hold back, just go for it. So neurodiverse and highly sensitive people benefit greatly from complementary therapies to help reduce stress and anxiety. However, coming to a therapy environment can be challenging in many ways. So I'm not an expert on neurodiversity by any means. It's just life has taken me on this crazy journey over the last few years, and I want to open up a conversation about what we can offer our clients as therapists for whatever therapies we offer. It doesn't need to be gentle release therapy, but I will talk about gentle release therapy a bit and how we've supported people with that through this video. But I want to help clients have treatments that suit their unique needs. And I've developed a questionnaire that you can use to support your own clients if you wish. You can edit it, adapt it, however you need. But it's about opening the conversation with other therapists and with our clients about how we can better suit them in the therapy room. So first of all, definition of neurodiversity. So neurodiversity is the idea that people with brains that work differently are part of the normal range in humans. And this term is often used as an alternative way of considering the autism spectrum, and that's from the Oxford Learners Dictionary. So what comes under the neurodiversity umbrella? So there's a range of conditions including autism, ADHD, dyscalculia, dyslexia, epilepsy, developmental language disorder, FASD, which is brain-based due to alcohol exposure in the room, intellectual disability, Tourette's and tic disorders, acquired brain injuries, chronic neurological conditions. I'm just going to give pathological demand avoidance, or PDA, a special mention because it's something that not many people will know about, but it is quite challenging and means people, parents and families need to manage people or children with pathological demand avoidance in a slightly different way. So pathological demand avoidance is resisting and avoiding the ordinary demands of life. So it's almost like the more pressure and demands that get put on them, the higher up this ladder of stress and anxiety they go. So actually they'll perform better when there are no demands placed on them. And it's not a choice, it's just the way that anxiety and everything comes out. So for parents with children with PDA, they have to manage them very differently to normal children, and as parents probably feel judged by a lot of other parents that you have to manage them differently. They might think that you're letting them walk all over you or things like that, but actually you pick your battles and you figure out the best way to make things work for everybody. So I'd just say if you do start to get neurodiverse clients in the treatment room and ones that might have differences like PDA, then just be kind and gentle and think about things before you say them, because as parents of children that are struggling, it's often the parents that get the blame first. And do you know what? It would be really nice to go to a supportive environment where you can feel that you're not judged, that you feel like you're doing help you feel like you're doing a good job, and allow you to relax and be yourself. And yeah, I think that's going to be a massive part of how we can help create a caring environment. So whatever your judgments are, whatever your experiences are, perhaps put them aside and just let them get on with it. Because chances are they've tried everything anyway and they know what's right for their child. So around 1 in 7 of the UK population is neurodivergent, and I doubt that figure includes all of the women with autism that have been undiagnosed. I think if you know much about autism, it's very difficult to diagnose in girls because they mask so well, and that masking takes an awful lot of energy. And yeah, so the chances are you've seen a number of neurodivergent clients in your treatment room, but I just really want to make complementary therapies more accessible for everybody, open up to the conversation about what our clients can ask for and what we can offer them to support them. Because by making the therapy room more inviting, more welcoming, making the therapy suit their needs better, that's going to help them come back, help them spread the word, and help them get more help. So, my story. So, this is my daughter Imogen, who is 8 years old. She's in disguise here as Ladybug, so I thought that would be okay to put her on the video. So, it seems we've both always been highly sensitive, and for her, there have been difficult periods when wearing clothes or putting on socks and shoes has been too much to bear. I've got a blog, My Highly Sensitive Child, When Socks Become Your Nemesis, which I've put a link to at the end of the video in the resources. But for me, I'm also very particular about fabrics. I can't bear polyester. I hate being told off and always make my own tea and coffee because I like it my way. We both have a long list of ways we are more sensitive than most. However, when my daughter turned 7, her anxieties increased dramatically. She was struggling to go into school and had meltdowns at home. And to cut a long story short, she was diagnosed as autistic in March 2022. Disclaimer here is that I'm no expert in neurodiversity, but I've experienced a crash course over the last few years. And my daughter is now doing great with the support of gentle release therapy to help empty her bucket. But every day in the Facebook groups for carers and parents of neurodiverse kids and teenagers, I see the unbearable situation families have found themselves in with little or no support, and it breaks my heart. And I want to help if I can, and I want to encourage the complementary therapy community to think about how they can help too. So what can we do? So we know that alongside neurodiversity can be anxiety and depression, but access to mental health support is sadly extremely lacking. You know how the therapies you offer your clients help them feel better in a multitude of ways, many of which we wouldn't be able to say due to advertising standards, but that would help people that are struggling. I want to make sure that if a neurodiverse client considers complementary therapies, we set it up for the best possible chance of success by making sure our therapy rooms, practices and treatments can be tailored to meet the individual needs of each client. So, talking therapies. For brain issues, the first port of call seems to be CBT, counselling and talking therapies. But what if they've had enough of talking? What if talking doesn't help them? What if they just need some time to relax and release and let go of some tension and stress? So how can we put this into practice? So I have created a questionnaire. It's a living questionnaire. That means that it'll change over time as more things are added to it. This is something that you can offer to your clients to complete to help you understand their needs and how things can be adapted in a therapy setting. This questionnaire will be regularly updated with any suggestions, and anyone that contributes will be listed in the credits at the bottom. It will be free for therapists to use and alter as necessary to suit their own settings and therapies. So that's the first page there shown on the screen, just with name and email, so you know who's filling it in. So here's a little quote from the National Autistic Society. Small changes can make a massive difference to autistic visitors, and just a little understanding can go a long way. So the questionnaire. So I'm just going to go through each of the slides and talk through the things that we've got so far. So we understand everyone is different and that small adjustments in the therapy room can make you feel more comfortable, more relaxed, and ultimately make the treatments you receive more effective. Feel free to complete this questionnaire to suit you. You are welcome to skip the sections that are of no concern to you. Equally, you may wish to include as much detail as you like in areas that are of more importance to you. We will do what we reasonably can to make the treatment space as welcoming as possible for you. So first of all, we've got lighting and room temperature. So there's a few different options there. I prefer dim light, bright light, coloured lights, candle light. And then about temperature, I would prefer the room on the cooler side, normal room temperature, or warmer than average, maybe with a heated blanket. So obviously you might not currently have all these different options you could offer, but you can alter the questionnaire to suit what you can offer. And ultimately, it's just opening up that conversation with the client. So smells. Oh, I'm really sensitive to smells. If people wear perfume, yeah, it really gets up my nose and gives me a headache. So this may be a thing for your clients. I know that I sometimes have clients that come with lots and lots of strong smelling perfume on, and then for the rest of the day the treatment room is just full of that smell. So if smells do bother your clients, it may be worth asking a client not to wear such strong smelling perfume before she comes into the treatment room, or he, and it could be worth scheduling it so that clients with sensitive noses come on different days to that day. So there's some options here. Smells don't bother me at all. I struggle with strong synthetic smells. That's me. I struggle to cope with air freshener or perfume. Yes, that's me too. I struggle with the smells of essential oils. Well, I'm okay with those. So feel free at the bottom to add any more details about smells that you struggle with or find comforting. So then I have moved on to sounds, talking and music. So prior to the treatment, I would appreciate some time to settle in and chat before the treatment starts, or I'm happy to get on straight on with the treatment when I arrive. So that just, so for some people they might need a little bit of time to settle before they want to get ready for the treatment. Other people might be happy to go straight in. And then we have some sound options. I prefer no sound, relaxing music, sounds of nature, music of my own choice. I will bring my own, or I'd like to listen to my own music with headphones. I know as well some people don't like music with words. Some people do like music with words. That might be something you can add in. And then also I prefer no talking during the treatment. Another option is I'd like you to explain everything you're doing during the treatment. Another option is I like to talk a lot during treatments. Or finally, I'm happy for quiet or for you to bring up anything that arises during the session. And then moving on to blankets, fabrics and products. So I've got something about fabrics to start with. I'm sensitive to fabrics and would prefer, if possible, cotton, polyester, fleece, faux fur, or I'd like to bring my own blanket. And then there's some options if you want to offer weighted blankets. A weighted or heavier blanket would help me to relax. A lightweight blanket is better for me. A regular blanket will be fine, or I'd like to bring my own blanket. And then there's a question about heated blankets, and then about sensitivities to products. So I prefer non-synthetic fragrance, so that would be essential oils. I prefer no fragrance. I prefer organic products. I prefer natural products. I'm okay with oil. I'm okay with balm. I'm okay with powder. So they can just tick whichever options are relevant to them. So next, movement. So during a treatment, we've got a few options. I'm happy to lie down and be still. I'd rather stand up so I can move freely if I need to. I'd like to lie down but stand up and move around when I need to, or I'd rather sit in a chair. So obviously depends what treatment you're offering and whether clients are allowed to, it's appropriate for clients to be moving around while you're doing the work. I know with gentle release therapy, I very much encourage people to move around as they need, and kids often moving around all over the place because they know how their body needs to release, whereas grown-ups were a bit more, oh, we're having a treatment, better lie down on the couch and be still and not get in the therapist's way, whereas actually I'd much rather people did move around if they need to. So pressure and touch. So I like firm pressure, I like light pressure, gentle touch is okay. I prefer a hands-off treatment. I'm happy to go with whatever you feel is right for me on the day. One of the gentle release practitioners suggested this one. I'm sensitive to touch and pressure initially, so please begin carefully and gently. So with gentle release therapy, we don't, it's a very gentle touch, but we don't have to do it on the body if necessary. We can do it off the body. Entertainment, distractions and fidgets. So I have put a note in here to say if you want to bring a phone, tablet, toy, game or fidget along to use during your session, that's absolutely fine. I know with kids, some parents have motivated them to come along by saying they get some screen time while they're here, and that's absolutely fine with me as well. So virtual treatments. So some of you, I'm sure, will offer virtual treatments, and that might be of benefit to neurodiverse people that don't like to get out, don't really like to have to communicate with other people. So there's the option in the questionnaire for that to be offered. So I'd prefer a virtual treatment and I'd prefer it to be on Zoom, or they might even not want to do it on Zoom and just speak before and after the treatment, or even not speak and just email before and after the treatment. So communication and booking appointments. So do you know what? It's funny that I'm presenting this, but I don't really like human interaction. I'd much rather go through the self-serve checkout, and I had to get my car wash the other week, and I was dreaded going and having to communicate with the people at the car wash. Some people might much rather use an online booking system. Some people will want to talk and get to know you a bit before they decide to book. Some people would rather use email or by text or WhatsApp, or some people will prefer to sort of regimentally pay and sort out the next booking at the end of the treatment for those people that need that structure, that following the same pattern. So just having the potential to be open for all different people's preferences. So, and then we're coming to the end now. So I've put, if there's anything you want to share about how you communicate, please note it down here, and also just a general box for anything else you'd like to share with me. And then at the end I've put, thank you so much for taking the time to complete this form. No one is perfect and sometimes circumstances are beyond our control, but we will do what we can to meet your needs. We may contact you if we need further information. I've also said, if you have any suggestions for other things that could be included on this form, please email hello@gentleleasetherapy.com. So what you could do is when you send out your initial consultation form, you could send this form alongside it. or if you don't send it out during the treatment room, you could do it then, but obviously it might be good to send it before people actually get to your treatment room, so that you know, you can get everything prepared for their arrival. So what I've done is I've created a Facebook group called Complementary Therapists Supporting Neurodiversity. I've put the link there, and I'll add it on at the end as well. And you're more than welcome to join. The questionnaire will be available in the group, and it'll be a place to have a conversation about how we can better meet client needs. You can also share suggestions about how to improve the questionnaire. Perhaps it might become a place where potential neurodiverse clients visit to explore complementary therapies that may suit them. So I was just going to say a little bit about gentle release therapy, because I thought this talk was just something of a personal passion of mine, really, and it's not really connected to gentle release therapy, other than that gentle release therapy has massively helped my daughter. But I didn't want you to think that gentle release therapy was just for neurodiversity, so I just thought I'd explain a little bit about it. So it's based on traditional Chinese medicine beliefs. We do abdominal release on key areas in the abdomen: the liver, heart, spleen, kidneys, womb, ovaries, ileocecal valve, Houston valve. It also includes the cranial release, endocrine and lymphatic releases, and trauma release. So what I believe is that there's a web of emotions held in the body, and that negative experiences can be held in the body that create a web of tension and stagnation. And we find emotion everywhere when we're working. They often link with the TCM organs and their emotional connections. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is connected to anger and frustration, the heart to anxiety, the spleen to overthinking and worry, and the kidneys to fear. And obviously those are all going to be big emotions for people struggling with anxiety. And particularly, I know when my daughter was struggling with her meltdowns, that's just like an overload of anger coming out, and she can't hold it in anymore, so it bursts out in these meltdowns. And as a mum, you think somebody else is going to come and help me, someone else has got to help. And then in the end I was just like, do you know what, I am going to have to sort this out. And did her lots of treatments. I won't say it was quick and easy, but then the meltdown stopped and she hasn't had any since. So I'm so relieved about that, but it is a case of keeping her bucket clear, making sure it doesn't get too full. I think the sensitivities with her clothes and her socks was just that they were the last straw. So she was that full and that sensitive that the clothes were the last straw. So that the clothing things happened a few times, and every time it happened I got back on with the gentle release, and then it resolved again. But I can't tell you how stressful it has been when you're trying to get her clothes on, and she's desperately wanting to get her clothes on because there's a birthday party to go to, but she can't do it, and it's like she's been torn in two. And we're having to look out the window and try and distract her. Is that a bunny I can see in the garden, and things like that. So yeah, you do anything and try anything. Yes, anyway, I've gone off topic slightly. So yeah, and then kidneys and fear, really important, especially if people are having urinary problems or leaking, not able to hold their urine in, which is quite common in autism, and I'm sure gentle release would massively help, but we need to try it with more people. So gentle release could be described as acupuncture without the needles, but we do add on a few extra bits like the cranial releases, like the jaws, fantastic. We do have a kids guided gentle release on YouTube where we get kids to roar like the dinosaur in their jaw and just let go of stress there. So treatments involve using our intuition to unwind, untangle and release. And I would also say that resolving negative emotions in the mind doesn't seem to necessarily clear them in the body, but we do a gentle release. The other thing that's really helpful is that you don't even need to know what it is that's clearing, and you don't need to have focus on past traumatic events to allow them to clear either. The therapist can just set an intention, or you can set an intention. You don't even need to share what it is you want to get rid of, and we'll just go wherever in the body we feel that things are held and allow them to release. Supporting other members of the family can really help everyone's stress levels lower, not just the family member that may be neurodivergent, but then it can be genetic, so there might be a few members in the family. But yeah, it's not just about supporting that individual by supporting other members of the family that are stressed. That's really going to help everyone's stress levels lower. Further learning, if you want to learn more about neurodiversity and how you can support your clients, Lorraine Senior has created functional reflex therapy, if you're a reflexologist, which is a unique form of reflexology with a supportive framework encouraging a meaningful connection beyond the touch. The nurturing concept of FRT was initially developed from Lorraine's experience and effective practice in school supporting the emotional well-being of young people with additional and diverse needs, high levels of anxiety and communication difficulties. The National Autistic Society offers help and support and has guides about how services and businesses can make themselves more accessible. So there's a link there, and they also have an autism friendly award you can apply for. However, at £295 for 0 to 10 employees, I think it's a bit much when many of us are sole traders. So at the time of writing and presenting this, I've asked them to create another tier for sole traders, but I've yet to receive a reply. So I'm going to keep chasing them down, and I'll put that in the Facebook group. Then we have the BBC documentary Inside Our Autistic Minds with Chris Packham, helping autistic people illustrate how their minds work and helping them connect with their friends and families in a new and more authentic way. Me being the sensitive soul that I am, cried many times watching this, but really fantastic and really gives you an appreciation of how some people are affected by their autism and what's really going on underneath. And Christine McGuinness also has a programme on Masking My Autism on BBC. Further learning. So the ADHD Foundation Neurodiversity charity is the largest provider of training in ADHD and neurodevelopmental conditions for professionals in the UK, and there's lots of resources on their page, including other neurodiversity areas, not just ADHD, so it's well worth a look on there. And it has a neurodiversity friendly business award coming soon, and I'm going to email them and ask them to consider sole traders before they set it up, hopefully. And then the National Organisation for FASD, which is brain-based problems due to alcohol exposure in the womb, and FASD is more common than autism, so it's obviously having a massive impact on people, and perhaps it's something we all need to learn a little bit more about. And then there's some links about gender release therapy and neurodiversity, and the blog I mentioned about my daughter when she was really struggling with her clothes before we knew she was autistic. So there's a link to the JOT form. It's a template form as well, so you can just get it off JOT form as a template and then alter it and use it as you wish. So just thinking openly about how else we can help as therapists. Often families that find themselves in these situations may well be financially very stretched. Everything costs a lot of money. If you're struggling to get your child to go into school, chances are that you're maybe not able to work. and I'm just trying to think around what we can do to help this. So from gentle release perspective, we have an introduction to gentle release therapy online course, which I'm happy to offer for free to anyone that genuinely can't afford it. And that's got some guided meditations that will you can listen to and do gentle release on yourself, which might be really helpful and supportive for some people. As I mentioned as well, there's the guided releases for kids that are on YouTube, which might be helpful for kids. There's the animals want to go to sleep and the animals want to play, which is more moving around, that may be much more appropriate for some children, but the animals go to sleep one is really good for helping them get off to sleep as well. Like wild ideas here, but maybe a community interest company, CIC, one day, maybe we could start to raise money to be able to offer treatments for complementary therapy treatments for people that are struggling in this situation. But if you can think of any other ways to help, then join the Facebook group and come and share your ideas or contact me. The other thing that I'd like to do as soon as I get time is to maybe offer one treatment a month free of charge or a much reduced rate for people that are struggling. Thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to email any questions or start a conversation in the Facebook group. And if you want to email me, it's hello@gentlereleasetherapy.com. Thank you. Bye.